48 years old, worked all my life, and yet I have nothing to show for it. I've really tried to do everything right. I have a master's. I have a career. But it just didn't work. I've had loads fun when I was a young guy, between 25 and 35. But I was still independent and reasonable. And I never hurt people or myself. I never did something so stupid that I would end up regretting it years later. I never had to deal with an insane amount of debt. I never put myself in a difficult situation. I simply had a normal, simple life. I'm quite healthy, young looking. My body and mind are both doing okay, which helps a lot. But that's it. That's as far as it goes. The cost of life nowadays makes it impossible for me to save any money or to buy a house. I've been trying to live frugally the last 13 years and it still didn't work. I'm careful about everything. I really am. But it's not enough. I make an okay amount of money for where I live. I honestly do. But it doesn't matter. Life is too expensive. Way too expensive. The worst thing is my parents are dirt poor. They have nothing. So I'm not going to inherit everything. And life is only going to be more expensive in the future. The funny thing, if you can call that funny, is that I know it's not too late at all. If I suddenly had a decent business idea and if I worked like a madman during the next 20-25 years to make it work, I could potentially still become successful and retire comfortably. That's a lot of ifs though. So many things could go wrong. But isn't that wrong to begin with? Having a job is supposed to be enough for you to have a future. But it's not the case anymore. My gut feeling is that there's no more middle class anymore. Yes, we earn more, or even much more, than the previous generation. And that somehow manages to convince some people that we're doing well. However, everything is so insanely expensive that it doesn't matter. It's not enough. Most people should be doing okay. But that's a minority nowadays. I'm not unhappy or sad. I'm just scared, I guess. It's insane to take a look at where we are now. Damn. The future is scary. I'll tell you that. NB. I forgot to mention it. And I'm not sure it matters, but I live in France. So yes, our salaries are significantly lower. A lot. But our cost of life is not the same. We don't pay for a 401k. Our rent is lower. We don't need to commute by car so much. We don't pay for healthcare. We don't have hundreds of thousands in student debt. Our interest rates are lower. We don't go through any subprime crisis. We have a real safety net so you can survive without working, yada yada. I think it's a very similar situation in several other European countries. We should be able to save money with all these perks. But life became way too hard financially speaking the last 10 years, so it's very tough to become financially independent. I'm in USA and it's the same. Have a degree. No debt. Worked since 15 yo. Never burned any bridges. Was respectful and I'll die poor. I'll probably be working until I die. Parents are poor too. I'm burned out and sad. This is why people have stopped giving it their all. There's just no point working back-breaking hours trying to climb the ladder if at the end of the day nothing fruitful is in reach. These constant world issues are wiping out economies, and all that's left after is higher costs of living. Going off-grid is also not a real option. We are creatures of comfort and habit. Nobody wants to live like some hermit or the fantasy that Joe Rogan propagates. He's rich AF yet talks about escapism all the time. He can afford to. Most people can't. Sucks that you're feeling stuck, but at least you see what's happening. This is a great example of how Gen X's were raised on boomer morals. But only now, or maybe the last decade, realizing it doesn't matter how hard you work, especially if you have a middle-income career. You're not getting ahead, let alone have enough to retire. 37 here and I feel the exact same way. I've abandoned all hope of having a home, and I'm learning to love my frugal poor peasant life of living like a hobbit in a city. I'm small and old, and work way too hard. But I found carrots at my local market for stew, and all is well. 60Y. Oh, here. Worked my ass off at the same place for 37 years. Was shown the door one day and told not to come back. They had hired a guy with little experience that was way younger. Haven't been able to get a job in 2 years. I am looking down the same barrel. Work too much and make a good living, but at the end of the day, I guess it's good that I can get food every day. No retirement in my lifetime though. No incentive. They are going to start reaping what they sow. This is why the ACTU wage movement started. People aren't willing to give extra for nothing anymore. 55 here and in the same boat. Retire comfortably? I work in long-term care as a nurse. There is no such thing. When you get old, life gets harder. Then the illness comes. We all get something that kills us. We will save for retirement. But all that money will go to a medical bill that takes all of it. Best bet. Live stress-free. Be healthy. Do you now? You might save more money by being healthy than making money and getting sick, stroke, obesity, heart attack, etc. I have a master's. I have a career. May I ask what your career and master's are in? No judgment. Any career should provide a comfortable, fruitful life. I'm just always curious when reading these posts what people do. I consider myself very lucky in my career as a QA tester for medical devices. They pay decently well and treat people right with good benefits. Because we have all been sold the Matrix lie. Similar. But in the US. After avoiding the fun stuff in my 20s and 30s while I was yanking fruitless bootstraps to be sure of a retirement, looking back, I would not have been as sparse in those years if I would have known there was no better tomorrow to plan on. I'd like to give a pep talk, but I fear that our species will continue to decide for us that aging is a rare privilege for the wealthy and that its prior generations can be fed to the wolves if we're no longer producing for their machine. I've been trying to live frugally the last 13 years and it still didn't work. The 2008 financial collapse happened around that time, and the resulting lowering of interest rates pushed up housing prices for years. At least here in Canada, borrowing has been cheap and housing has jumped in price pretty much every year since. The government also created a program for people to borrow money from their retirement for first-time buyers. Parents got caught up and started providing money to their kids to prevent them missing out on owning a home. This chart gives an idea of the results, but I can't verify the accuracy. Throw in WA, condo fees, added utilities, property tax, maintenance, interest, closing costs, etc., and I haven't been able to make owning a house cheaper than renting when comparing options. I ended up moving back home after 15 years. My cost of living plummeted and I've been living on savings for the last few years. Italian living in Germany here. Well, sharing the same feelings as you do. I honestly think that in this age of complexity, there are a ton of opportunities to make money, but all involve a certain degree of risk which the risk-averse such as me don't feel to be fit for. This kind of results in the outcome that traditional linear career paths don't give you an edge anymore as it was supposed to in the past somehow. Seen from my perspective, it's like that now, being young and unemployed. So when you still did not enter the rat race is a great advantage because you could just work out with little to no resources a business idea involved with internet which might turn your life over. Just saying that barriers to entry are extremely low. The hard part is for us older folks. with a job routine already established since years and possibly family obligations as well. Where our routine seems not enough to get anywhere. I just feel exhausted by the everyday work, and it feels that the salary is never enough to invest in anything. Maybe work was never the answer. I do what I love for a living. Still, the best moments in my life are being surrounded by my kids and enjoy those moments. We've been raised to believe work will make us complete. But reality is that's only a way to get money. Not even that much nowadays. We also been told buying things will fill our needs and enjoyment. Not true neither emo. There is more joy in thinking about buying and plan it than actually owning it. I dunno. This late capitalistic stage of humanity is very depressing in a lot of ways. But to keep it positive, try to get close to the human activities that has nothing to do with economical transactions. Friendships, family and healthy social relationships are the best things in life emo. The rest is just background noise. I am 35 in the USA and been a good hardworking person all my life. I am still poor, living with mom, have no real family or kids, and I survive paycheck to paycheck with no savings in my bank whatsoever because of bills and food. In this inflation, never got to see the world, make real friends or create something to be remembered by. Also, side note, was laid off recently cause summer season ended for the job I was happy at. Now I am on unemployment and don't even make 300 from them a week. I feel my life is over in many ways because I didn't go to college or make a family, and that makes me want to suicide sometimes, but I can't because I have no choice. Damn dude, I thought you were in America. Thought things were better over there. Are you me? Working all the time and still in debt. Fuck this system. That's the American way. And the way the government wants it. If it's not your fault, the system is in need of a reset.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.